If you can dominate and kill it as the 10 at Real Madrid, you can pretty much, it's safe to assume that he can pretty much do it at any team. Do you not agree with that?
Can Jude Bellingham realistically move from Real Madrid to Chelsea?
If I was Jude Bellingham, right, honestly, Chelsea would probably be the last place I would ever consider.
In the next couple of months, you never know. In a perfect storm, the stars might be aligning. Might see Jude Bellingham in a Chelsea shirt next season. And if he is in a Chelsea shirt, Mark, all jokes aside, he changes things. He rips it up at Chelsea.
Bro, check this latest piece of Chelsea news. Chelsea BlueCo are preparing a staggering £130 million, 150 million euros to tempt a Real Madrid superstar, Jude Bellingham, to come to the capital of the UK. Right? I've got a lot to say about this because I think, because our 10, Enzo Fernández, his stats are good, but I think, as we've always said, he goes a little bit missing. I don't like Cole Palmer in the 10. I like him on the right, but not as a right winger, as the inside right, which means I would love to have a superstar number 10 come in. And for me, Jude Bellingham is one of the best 10s out there. If you put him in the 10, he can play any position in the midfield. What do you think about this, bruv? How jealous are you, Neil? Come on.
I'll go along with this fairy tale for now, but if he does come to Chelsea, do you actually put him in the 10?
Put him in the 10, bro.
Put him in the 10. Got it.
If you have a look, when he come down to Real Madrid, under Ancelotti, he played as the 10 predominantly, the majority of the time. And that's where he scored pretty much in every single game. That's what got him on the cover of, FC 25. That's what put him on the map. That's what got him the deals with Kim Kardashian Skims. He has all his brand sponsors and stuff like that. And it was only until Xabi Alonso come in, and actually more specifically, Kylian Mbappe, they had to change from the diamond to the normal 3. And then they put him not as the 10, they put him as the 8 and sometimes as a 6. Even this season, the majority of the time he's played as an 8. So he's become more of like the engine. So of course that's going to affect his output, his scoring stats, his assists, right? Because he's been moved. But for me, 110%. If you can dominate and kill it as the 10 at Real Madrid, you can pretty much, it's safe to assume that he can pretty much do it at any team. Do you not agree with that?
No, look, I do. I'm just looking at Jude this season and more Real Madrid as a whole, right? So let's quickly go through Real Madrid's season so far and what kind of part Jude Bellingham's played in it. So Real Madrid this season, okay, they've got on a bit of a run now in La Liga, right? So their league form has picked up. I think they've won their last 5 straight, and they've closed the gap to Barca at the top to a point, but they're out the Copa del Rey. They finished outside of the top 8 in the Champions League group stages. Now, that doesn't really mean too much, because obviously we saw what PSG did last season, finishing well outside the top 8. But it's Real Madrid. It doesn't look all rosy there right now. Jude Bellingham's putting in good performances. I'm not watching every single game in La Liga, but he had an outstanding performance against Monaco in the Champions League. They look like they're not comfortable. They're not settled. And Jude Bellingham himself, as you just said, you mentioned Mbappe coming in, and they haven't looked the same Real Madrid, have they? They don't look like they're normally a banker for, latter stages of Champions League, and they, winning the Champions League. Your money's always going on Real Madrid, typically. I'm not sure that many are talking about Real Madrid as a standout team in the Champions League this season to win it. And that's an indictment in itself. And that's probably suggesting things aren't quite right at Real Madrid. Plus, they got rid of Xabi Alonso, mate. And they replaced him with a budget right back who used to play for Liverpool. I mean, listen, I know he played for Real Madrid as well, but Arbeloa, is he going to be the one? If you're Jude Bellingham, Mark, and you've got that going on, Xabi Alonso gone, you're not looking invincible, you're not looking like the great Real Madrid, and then you're not your settled self as a result, and then Chelsea come calling from London. and they go, listen, why do you fancy a change? Come back to the UK. Go to the best city in the UK. You play in London for, former Champions League winners. Does your head get turned from Real Madrid to, I'm trying to make a case here. Can Jude Bellingham realistically move from Real Madrid to Chelsea?
Massive Chelsea fan, as everyone knows who watches the podcast. If I was Jude Bellingham, right, honestly, Chelsea would probably be the last place I would ever consider. I don't care if we're Champions League previous winners, we won it twice. I don't care that we're based in London. I just wouldn't do it if I was Jude Bellingham. And also, I just don't see, I mean, you know how cunning BlueCo and Clear Lake, they like to, give all these contracts. They like to sell the women's team, sell the stadium, sell this, sell that, just to, be compliant with all these rules and stuff. They wouldn't be surprised if they figure out a loophole to bring in Jude Bellingham if they manage to persist him and sell him on the Chelsea project. Because Chelsea, as we've mentioned before, it seems like they are superstar sellers. And we've talked about it. We would love to know what they've been saying, how they pitch players to come to the club. If they do that, I'm sure they'll find out to cover his wages away. Maybe they'll stick him within the same structure as Reece James and they'll give him a piece of the shirt sales, or we have massive additional bonuses. You know how it is in Chelsea. You get a basic salary, but everything's on bonuses. Maybe they'll figure out a way. They're saying that, he's not untouchable at the moment, currently at Real Madrid, and Perez is open to selling him. That's why there's so many rumors about Bruno Fernández leaving to go to Real Madrid and be their main 10 in the summer. If that looks fairly likely, that could happen, because you and I have said that right now in the Premier League, the strongest league, Bruno Fernández is probably the best 10. Regardless of how Manchester United have been performing, of course.
The best 10.
There you go. So
10.
If he's the best 10 in the Premier League, of course, a club like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, all the top big boys would be looking at him. And then where would Jude Bellingham play? If I was Jude Bellingham, you've got options, because you've got a rep now as being one of the best midfielders. He has his options to go anywhere, Man City, PSG, Bayern Munich, anywhere. Because he's just that type of player. He's that level of player. Would I want to see him at Chelsea? Absolutely. Would you think the likelihood is? I'm going to have to be realistic. I think that Jude Bellingham will be a dickhead to make a decision to come here. But if he does, hey, we take on dickheads all the time.
If he does, it changes the landscape for what Chelsea's. It changes the landscape for Chelsea. Stamford Bridge ain't going to be the same again. If Jude Bellingham comes, you're literally a number 9 away from being an absolute powerhouse, as mad as that sounds. Now, the other thing about Jude Bellingham is he's actually the right age, right? He's been around for years, so you think, oh, okay, Jude Bellingham. He's still early 20s, Mark. Yeah, he's still early 20s. And there are future superstar players at Chelsea Football Club. Now, Real Madrid, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next month or so while Jude is out, because he injured his hamstring last night, I think.
Yes.
So he'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks, most likely. What does Real Madrid's season look like? We don't know, Mark. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks. They might fall apart. We don't actually know. It wouldn't be very Real Madrid-like if they did. But Alvaro Arbeloa isn't a very Real Madrid-type manager, sorry to say. So we don't know if this is the Real Madrid that's going to go deep in the Champions League. We don't know if this is the Real Madrid that's going to challenge for La Liga right now. Yes, they're a point of Barca, but Jude's out for 4 to 6 weeks. He might get disgruntled in the next couple of months. You never know. In a perfect storm, the stars might be aligning. Might see Jude Bellingham in a Chelsea shirt next season. And if he is in a Chelsea shirt, Mark, all jokes aside, he changes things. He rips it up at Chelsea. He has no doubt in my mind that he comes and he tears it up in the Premier League. Tears it up.
The thing is, it will stop that saying, oh yeah, Chelsea don't buy experienced players. Yeah, all that talk's going to be out of the window, because it will prove that Chelsea are able and can decide to make superstar experience and sign experienced players.
He fits in your mold, though. He doesn't break the structure, does he? It's just the fact that he is so experienced and being so good at such a young age, right?
Well, he breaks it because it's not within the wage structure. But as I said earlier, BlueCo are very sneaky and slimy and cunning and etc. I'm sure they'll figure out a way if they do decide to do it. Guys, let us know in the comments down below. Jude motherfudging Bellingham to Chelsea Football Club. I'll snap him up in an instant. Oh my days, I'll have him. I will say, though, there are talks of Enzo Fernández about to sign a new deal. I don't know how that's going to affect everything. Yeah. But anyways, Enzo Fernández.
GA output.
Man, stop going on about that. That's not frigging everything. Fudge that. Anyways, guys, let us know in the comments down below. Make sure that you subscribe and you like the video if you like this style of content, and click this video right here for our next piece of transfer madness. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.